Adventure in Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Break the cycle. I don't want to be like this. I don't want to live like this. I don't want to die like this. Break the cycle.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm very excited about our next guest for several reasons that we'll talk about. The main reason is this new single, High Life. And so what I want to know right off the bat, this is Dreambeard. You teamed up with Dropout Kings, and it all started from a cigar. Tell us that story.
Yeah, wow, man, that's a powerful story. I didn't know we were going to start there. So I'm this is pre me doing music, and I was hanging out with my buds in Memphis May Fire on the ShipRocked cruise, and they invited me out to hang out. I used to be a cinematographer for a long time, and so I brought my camera, and we're hanging out. I'm getting some video, and one of the off days where you're on the islands, the band kind of all split up with their wives, right? So I'm just kind of hanging out by myself, and I'm in the pool, and I'm like seeing everyone with cigars, right? And I'm like, man, I need a fucking cigar, bro. And so I crawl out of the water, and I'm just walking around aimlessly trying to find maybe some stand or whatever that sells cigars. I'm like, surely, you know. And I walk by all these like real dope kind of villas, and there's this guy on the deck of his villa, and he's smoking a cigar. So I'm like, well, shit, maybe he knows where cigars are. And so I kind of mosey over there, and I'm like, hey man, I'm like, where'd you get that cigar? And he's like, dude, I brought this like from home. And I was like, I've been looking to try to find a place to buy one. And he was like, well, he's like, do you want to just come smoke this with me? And I was like, hell yeah. And so I just crawl up onto his deck, and we sit down, and we start talking about life and love and passion and dreaming. And I talked a lot about myself, and he listened, and he was so kind. And we kind of like finished the cigar, and we dapped up, and I was like, man, what's your name? And he's like, my name's Adam. And I was like, dude, it's so nice to meet you. And I just walked away, and I had no clue that they had played that day on the beach. I had no clue that he was the singer of Dropout Kings. And it wasn't until much later that he found me on Instagram, and we connected. I put two and two together, and I was like, what the hell, you know? And we ended up becoming friends, and I would come to his shows a lot, and we spent a lot of time together, man. I love Adam. I think he's one of the most beautiful people I've ever met.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, that's what ShipRocked's all about right there. Like,
yeah, dude, for
you know,
real.
I do
Shout out to
media.
ShipRocked.
I know I do media coverage at music festivals all over the US, UK, Europe, and for years they were trying to get me to do ShipRocked. I'm like, no, that's in my off season. I'm surfing in Costa Rica. Like, I've already done like 30 festivals this year. And then finally one year I was convinced. I was like, fuck, what was I thinking saying no all these years? This was badass. And
really
what you
was.
experience is exactly what would happen. Like, what's really cool about ShipRocked too is that the artists, they feel comfortable enough they don't even go to catering. They'll eat out with everybody else because nobody's fucking with them. It's the best way I could put it. Like, it's like, you know, at festivals, even in the media area, it's like sometimes artists don't want to come there because all the media people will bombard them like it's a meet and greet. But on ShipRocked, everybody's got such respect that it's so cool that the musicians have a chance to just chill.
Yes,
you know?
Yes. That's exactly what I saw too, man. And I didn't even think about it, but I wasn't doing music on that ship, and I met someone at the bar. His name is Matt, and we became really good friends, and he helped me build the structure of my first song ever.
Wow.
that I ended up releasing. So both those things happened at ShipRocked at the same time. So yeah, it was like you said, there's a real beautiful community in rock in general, but like you said, the walls come down in those situations, and it's a lot of fun to be around. I'd love to perform there one day, man. That'd be sick.
Well, we got to make that happen. And I'll tell you what, too, Matty is one of my favorite people in music. He's like nicest, greatest human being like ever.
Bro, I have to shout him out because we've known each other for maybe, man, 8+ years, man, maybe even longer. But we met when I was a pastor, and we just hit it off about mental health, and we became really good friends. And he has been there through me walking away from being a pastor, and he's been there through my mental health issues. He's been there through some of the hardest times ever, me losing my first major business. And so what actually got me into music was him. And it was a moment on my birthday. I was on tour with him in Orlando, and he looked at me and he said, "Hey, I want you to learn this song. You're going to come up on stage with me tonight." And it was packed house, 2,000 people. And I learned the song, and I think it was Vices. And I came up, man, and it was the first time I even heard my name, because only my friends called me Dreambeard, and it was the first time I heard my name on stage. He literally in the middle of the song, he's like, "Give it up, Dreambeard," and I come out and I like scream. I have the video of it still because someone in the crowd videoed it, and yeah, man, that was what was the catalyst that caused me to want to be on stage, you know, and
I love it.
so yeah, it was wild.
And I love the whole path you've gone on anyway, because like I lived on the streets from 15 on.
Mm-hmm.
You have a story too, similar.
Yeah.
And look at where you've come from that. You know, it's like,
yeah,
I always find the people like you that have the most struggles in childhood are the ones that don't take anything as entitled or for granted, and they work their butt off and they create the life they want.
Yeah, man. No, 100%, man. I look back at my life and I definitely was a troubled teen. I was kicked out of school for drugs, facing juvenile detention time for well over 21 years old. I was, really headed down a dark path, man, and grew up in the trailer park life, grew up in, family doing, meth and all kinds of stuff. And I really do attribute that time of my life where there was this youth pastor that kind of took me under my wing during that dark time, and he gave me someone to look up to. And so even though I'm not like religious anymore, I am extremely thankful. His name's Trey. If he ever gets to see this, I would immensely say thank you for like pulling me out of hell, man, and giving me purpose and hope. And I think it changed who I was to my core. And yeah, like I said, I still have a lot of love for like belief and faith. It just looks a lot different now.
Well, and I think that's cool too, because I think that's what happens when you get older and you start learning a lot of things. Like I've studied all different types of religions, philosophies, and like I grab a little from here, grab a little from there, but the key is you did something that I preach about all the time, because I'm also a motivational speaker. And my thing is, I don't care what happened in your childhood. You can pull a role model from anywhere. Like, everybody talks about, one of the things that really annoys me is serial killers that get on and do interviews and they're like, yeah, the reason I did the heinous bullshit I did is because of my childhood. And I call bullshit, man, because otherwise I'd be a serial killer for sure.
Yeah.
And it's how you look at things too. Like all the shit that happened in my life that people thought was absolutely insane when I became an adult, I'm like, yeah, no, I didn't think that way. I just thought I was on some cool adventures, man.
Yes.
It's the viewpoint. It's picking a role model, and even if the role model picks you, you have to pick that role model. So, like the fact 100%. that pastor took you under his wing, that was something nobody else did for you, is the way I look at it. And then that's the whole thing. I think that's how we could squash a lot of things that are happening in society today. I think the role models are, kind of wacky nowadays, and
sure.
and people just need somebody that you need, that one person that could change your life forever, and it can come from any place.
Yeah, man, I completely agree. There's been so many pivotal, I can't even say that word right now. It's hilarious. people that really shaped who I was. I mean, I had the fortune of sitting on the one of the boards on FedEx because of the business I was running at the time. And I think of, some of those people that I met that completely changed the way I look at reality. And I think of, I had a major podcast for 4 years, and I think about all those people that I got to talk to and how they shaped my life. And I think that's what we are, right? We all are just a thing that inputs data that we're giving, and then it shapes our reality. It shapes our perception. And so there really is no like true truth out there that I've found besides change. But what I do see is that it really is all perception based, and you can create your own reality that
Yeah.
is happy, that is full of hope, no matter what you believe.
No doubt. 100%. I believe it's a choice,
Yeah.
we can't control what happens to us, but we can control how we look at it,
100%.
And so I also want to talk a second about you and your beard.
Yeah.
Because listen,
let me see if you can see the whole thing.
it is badass. And I say that because I laugh because, okay, so first of all, I've had facial hair most all my adult life, but until I was turned 50, I could not even grow a full beard. Like I had a goatee because I never grew anything here.
Uh-huh.
And then when I start growing it, like I think about, hey, I want to grow it long, like kind of it looks like such shit that I just trim it down again. I'm like, nope, and when I look at people that have beards like you, I'm like, man, how the hell do they do that? Because mine looks like shit no matter what I do when it's that long. But you made it a business of making your beard so great. So like hats off to you. I just had to give you kudos on your beard and how you made it all happen. And again, taking something and turning it into something even bigger.
100%, man. The beard business was wild. And it's funny you bring it up because in the other room, my friend Mike just got here, and I've never met him face to face, but he was always a fan of the beard products. And he reached out to me about a year ago, and he wanted to rebuild the brand and bring it back because it's been gone since COVID. And so this is the first time on any kind of live thing that I've ever said it, but it is actually coming back out, and it's coming back out full force. There's a crazy team behind it now.
Nice.
And so I'm going to just be kind of helping and assisting. I don't really have the time to really be that person anymore. Mike's going to take it over, and but I'm down to like help and assist in any way. But that really changed my life because I came out of church, and I was still kind of working in church when I started that brand, but it's what kind of shaped my whole perception of reality because I got out of a confirmation bubble of like just being around the same type of people that like believe the same type of things. And I started, going all over the country and the world, selling this product, and it exposed me to a lot of different people. And so I really am so passionate about what that brand did for me. And it changed my life, man. I mean, we started it with $46, and within 3 months, within 3 months, we were in 30 countries. We ended up selling in 186 countries. I became friends with people like Jim Root from Slipknot because of it, and met a lot of really famous people because of it. And it grew my connections and friendships. And we built something that was so crazy that even in Singapore, I was contacted by their law enforcement because people were spray painting my logo on the walls that were like 8 foot tall. And I have pictures of it still to this day. And so I can't believe what that actually did in my life, that you could just have a dream. And that's why I called it Dream Beard, is I just had a dream, and I was like, man, like maybe this could be real. And I took the smallest thing, faith of a mustard seed. Like I had $46 and I was living with my father-in-law, and I sat on a dining room table and I created something with faith, and it blew up. And I feel like my life has always been like that. I feel like anything I've ever wanted to do, I just see it, believe it, and then manifest it by walking it out and making the best decision possible in that moment, which leads to the best possible outcome.
And it's so true, everything you're saying, because I think everything has to do with attitude, outlook, perseverance, persistence. And, you can choose how you look at things and what you create from it. And you are the epitome of that. And then here we have, the tragedy of Adam, and then you reached out to Black Cat Bill, and here we are with the song High Life, with you teamed up with Dropout Kings. And I gotta tell you, I have this tendency that I'll listen to music before the interview to get pumped up for the interview.
Yeah.
And I basically, before this interview, I was doing some stuff in the other part of the studio, and I just had this song playing on repeat. And so I
awesome.
listened to it like 6 times, because it is
That's
banger for sure.
That's awesome, man. Thank you. Yeah, man. I'm just so enthralled by the song. I think it has so many meanings for me personally. I won't speak for like the band, right? Like everyone probably has, again, we talked a lot about perception. Everyone has their own kind of view of what it means to them personally. But yeah, like through Adam, I met the band, and I'll never forget Black Hat Bill, my interaction with him. Finally, we got to connect backstage one time for like a long time, and it was super sick because we spent like an hour and him showing me his like book that he was making. That was like, it was insane. And now it's actually out. It's crazy. And so we spent like an hour or so together, and we're talking, and we just built this friendship and connected later on. And that's Cam, by the way. He produced the song. So it's very important that you can see him.
Nice.
He's actually going to mix right here by us right now. I hope that's okay. So,
I think that's cool as hell.
Hey man, we were still doing our shit. And,
I love that. That's the way it should be, man.
Yeah, and so yeah, man, we hit it off hardcore, became friends on Instagram. And then when I was building this song was more of a personal song. I want to be clear about that. Like, it wasn't anything that I was trying to like build some song that I thought Dropout Kings would be a part of. I was going through a lot, and I needed a song that was like an outcry about breaking the cycle in my own life and like things that I was going through deeply personally. And but when the song had kind of reached this point, I looked at Cam, and Cam had, produced a lot of Dropout Kings already, like Glitch Gang. And so, I felt like we had talked about it, and he kind of was like, man, this kind of makes sense. We should hit up Black Cat Bill. This feels like a Dropout King song. And so he hit him up. We kind of got in a group chat. We started talking about it, and we showed it to him. And he was just like, man, hell yeah. And he literally, it was maybe like Cam, like a few days later, probably, that he sent the stems back, man. And when we dropped them in, I'll never forget, like, because you never know, like when someone's going to send you something, especially if you're not there in the room. Like if you're in the room and you're watching it happen, it's a totally different experience because you see it evolve, right? But to just be handed stems and you're like, man, I don't know what this is going to sound like in the song. it was literally, we were like mind blown. We were like, holy shit, this song's like a song now, like,
nice.
And so, yeah, man, we couldn't be happier. And it was really important for me to involve the band. And so we, in the music video, I went all the way up to New York before their tour, and we shot full band and really, really incorporated as much as we could with them in it because it was such an honor. I'm such big fans. And so yeah, man, I think it came together so well, and it's been really well received. I think it's, it's a song that's not only fun, but has like a positive message in a weird way.
But I do love it. And the fact is too, it is an honor because this is like the first track dropped since Adam, passed on us. So like, to me, that's a huge honor. But see, I do get the whole message from your message of the song, because I lived it, and I think this could help a lot of people because, a lot of people had to go through what you went through, what I went through, I always think about, like, I don't care what I went through. There's somebody out there that went through worse, and a lot of times it does have to do with the high life for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And, nothing good usually comes out of that unless you do what you did and take it and turn it into something good and message that can help others. And that's why I think high life represents, in my opinion.
100%, man. It's like, you know, I love what Black Cat Bill says in the breakdown. It talks about generational curses, like a mechanism of death, and it's like, so this song could be about something that's currently happening in your life or things you struggle with, or it could literally be a generational curse that's following you, and you might be the first person in your family lineage to break it. And I
Yeah.
think that's probably the overarching message, is like, we all have something that is weighing us down, and it's time to break that off.
I also think it sends a message that with those generational curses, so many people, they just think they're doomed to that. And it gives them hope now that they can break it and they can change it.
Yes, 100%, man. I really hope that that's what this song is for people. I hope it's something you can jam, and maybe even if you don't have enough faith to break a cycle, maybe it is some sort of weird spiritual alchemy that you could just play this on repeat, like you said, and you could jam it at the gym, you can jam it in the car, and maybe it begins to melt away the cycles without you even trying.
Yeah, no doubt. Because music to me, especially metal, is like some of the best therapy you can ever have.
100%, man.
What.
Get the energy out.
No doubt.
You know, I have so many different songs coming out with some of me singing more and stuff, but I'll never deny that, like, being on stage and getting to scream is the most euphoric, let out your bullshit moments. And it is extremely therapeutic when you get to do stuff like that.
No doubt. And for me, on the other side, being in the pit while you're screaming does it for me. Like, I had a I had a lot of bad deaths in the last few years, but one that really hit hard. And the next day I was covering a festival where Slayer was headlining, and it was just a couple years ago. And I just went in that Slayer pit, and I let that, you want to take somebody for grief counseling, put them in a Slayer pit.
Yeah, for real, dude. I mean, dude, I grew up, like I said, in trailers listening to Korn. And if it wasn't for some of those breakdowns and some of those big moments and some of those big songs like Limp Bizkit and all those great guys, damn, I mean, I needed that therapy. So I hope that there's some young guy, you know, jumping in his trailer to break the cycle.
Nice.
You know, and it's helping him, you know, like that's what it's all about, right?
Well, I think that's what's great about you. You're not only a great artist, but a great human being that could be a role model to others. And I think that is also the most important thing about living the life you had to live, because I don't think you become a role model without that. Like, even look at superheroes. Like, you take somebody like Batman or Arrow. They don't have superpowers. They're not metahumans. They're not aliens. They just had some really bad shit happen in their life.
Yeah.
You know? And so that's the way I view somebody like you, is like, you had some shit in your life that happened and you turned it into something positive, and it's good. So that's what's most important. Is there anything else you want to share with the listeners we haven't covered yet about what you have coming up, about High Life or anything?
Well, man, first is thank you so much for the kind words. And, like, you know, being a role model is what I was, is, you know, for 8 years of my life as a youth pastor and stuff. And I think that, like, this is like an opportunity now for me to get to step into that role again and be on a stage and have a new message that of hope. And so thank you. I do hope I have the opportunity to be able to do things like that and engage with the public in a real sense, you know. As far as the future, I've got some crazy things I wish I could say, crazy features. I've got songs that are so unreally on a different level that I wish I could drop them yesterday, but
nice.
Things take time, you know, and especially the features. And then, but this new song we have coming out probably next, I'm really excited about, because it's definitely more like showcases my vocals. There is some screaming in it, but like you really hear me like sing, and I think I pull out my church vocals a little bit more in that song. And and so I'm kind of pretty excited to see you know, what people think about it. But yeah, we've got some crazy ones. Cam is really taking our sound to just a whole nother level. I mean, he you know, Chingo is what he goes by. Everybody knows him. He literally created snare bombs. He literally really shaped the metal industry, in my humble opinion, of sound. And so to be working with him and developing a new sound based on that is pretty just unreal, you know, and leaves me speechless.
I think it is key. People don't realize how important that is, man. Like you take like a band like Metallica. Without Bob Rock, you know, where would you be?
Yes,
where would you be? You know?
Exactly.
And there's so many stories like that, you know, and so I'm glad you're one of them. And everybody's got to reach out to you on socials, on the web, check out all your stuff, buy your merch, because they can't listen to my show unless they buy your merch, by the way.
Let's go.
That's the only way musicians keep going nowadays, because they're getting screwed everywhere else. So that's the one place
100%.
where you can make it to the next gig and the next song. And so you keep giving us great therapy and being a great role model and giving us great music. And thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Thank you so much. This was a humbling experience, and I was totally honored, and I can't wait to do more.
Me too.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.